All right, so you want to talk wholesale produce, huh? This deep dive request, it got me thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, we're not talking about your typical farmer's market here, right?
No, not at all.
This feels way bigger. Like, we're talking about the global movement of fruits and veggies, making sure grocery stores are stocked. Everything from, like, your basic bananas to, I don't know, dragon fruit.
You're getting warm. Think of it this way. Wholesale produce merchants, they're the crucial link between those who grow our food and, well, us.
The people buying it.
Exactly. They're the ones ensuring a steady supply no matter what fruit you're after.
Okay, so less about picking apples and more about orchestrating where those apples end up.
A global apple dance, you
Yeah.
could say.
Huh. And this RoleCatcher career guide I was looking at,
Hmm.
it really lays out how much goes into this. Like, this isn't just about knowing your produce.
It's a lot more than that.
They're analyzing market trends, negotiating contracts. It's a whole business thing.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing the guide stressed was communication, negotiation skills. Those are critical.
Which makes sense. I mean, we're talking huge deals here. Tons of produce riding on every conversation.
Right. Just picture this. Demand for, say, avocados, it skyrockets. Everyone wants guacamole avocado toast.
Oh, man, don't even say that. My grocery store is already running low.
And who do you think steps in to solve that? Wholesale produce merchants, they work their magic, making sure those avocados are on the shelves.
They're like the unseen heroes of my breakfast.
Exactly.
Though the guy did mention this career can be pretty demanding. Long hours sometimes.
Right, that's true. But there's that potential for, a flexible schedule, good earning potential too.
That's what caught my eye. So
Yeah.
it's a balance, I guess. High rewards, but also high stakes.
You got it. And let's not forget we're dealing with perishable goods here as a whole other layer of, well, pressure.
Oh, for sure. It's like a race against the clock, isn't it?
Sometimes it feels that way.
So for someone thinking about this career path, what advice would you give them?
I'd say number one, build relationships. Solid connections with your growers, your buyers. It's all about trust.
Knowing where to find the best produce.
Exactly. And you've got to stay ahead of the curve, know what's hot, what's not, what's coming next.
And that's where technology comes in, right? Like RoleCatcher, they've got this AI-powered interview practice thing. Amazing.
It's incredible. Can you imagine practicing your interview answers, getting feedback, all from AI?
It's like having your own personal coach, but in your pocket.
Right. Talk about a secret weapon for your job search.
Seriously, who wouldn't want that edge?
Nobody I know. And the best part, RoleCatcher, they don't stop there. They've got it all. Databases of employers, industry resources, salary info.
So it's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about breaking into the world of produce.
You could say that.
This is already blowing my mind, and we're just getting started. You know, the guy did touch upon the whole ethical side of things, fair trade, the environment, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Consumers are getting more aware of where their food comes from. Do you think that's changing the role of these wholesale produce merchants?
It's a really interesting point, and honestly, it's something the guide only briefly touches on. I think it's something we should definitely explore further. You're right, people are becoming so much more conscious of their impact, and that includes their food choices.
Absolutely. So how do we make sure what we're eating is, I don't know, good in every
Yeah.
sense of the word?
Well, that's where these wholesale produce merchants, they become crucial. They're in a position to make a real difference, to champion sustainability, fair trade practices.
So finding that balance, right? Meeting the demand for, well, delicious food, but doing it in a way that's responsible.
You hit the nail on the head, and it's not just about being ethical, it's about being smart. The world's changing, climate change. That's impacting food production globally.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that angle.
And these merchants, they're on the front lines of all this. They're the ones adapting, finding solutions. They'll be the ones ensuring we've got a stable, sustainable food supply in the future.
Wow. Talk about a lot of pressure.
It's a big responsibility.
So we've got globalization, technology, and now climate change. Seems like you need a crystal ball to succeed in this industry.
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Because remember how we were talking about technology? E-commerce, for example. That's changing how this whole industry operates. Online platforms, they're connecting merchants with a wider pool of everyone, streamlining the whole process.
And opening up new possibilities.
Absolutely. And then there's blockchain. Blockchain, now there's a game changer. Imagine this, all right? You can track your mangoes from the moment they leave the farm, say in South America, all the way to your supermarket. Every step of the journey recorded. No more mystery fruit.
Like a digital passport for your produce. That's got to build a lot of trust with us, the shoppers.
Exactly. And it's not just about transparency. For these merchants, blockchain helps them get things done better, Less waste, more efficient.
Because they can see where everything is in real time.
Exactly. Prevents spoilage, cuts down on transportation costs. Those mangoes arrive fresh and delicious.
Makes you wonder what they did before all this tech came along. But speaking of tech, the guide also mentioned AI, as in artificial intelligence.
Oh yeah, AI is making waves in this industry too. It's wild.
So it's not just for like self-driving cars anymore.
Nope. We're talking about AI analyzing tons of data, everything from weather patterns to what people are saying about mangoes on social media.
Wait, seriously, they're analyzing fruit tweets?
It's all part of the bigger picture. This helps these merchants make smart decisions, anticipate those shifts in demand.
So they can stock up on mangoes before I even know I'm craving a mango smoothie.
Exactly. AI helps them stay ahead of the game, mitigating risks. It's all about making those data-driven choices to, well, succeed.
It's like having a crystal ball, but for fruit. So what you're saying is wholesale produce merchants, they can't just be experts on, like, ripeness and whatnot. They've got to be tech savvy, too.
100%. Being comfortable with technology, being ready to adapt, that's key. And you know what? That's where a platform like RoleCatcher can really help.
Because they've got all those resources, right?
Yeah.
For building those in-demand skills.
They've got it all. Courses, you name it. Blockchain basics, data analysis, even digital marketing.
It's incredible how much technology is shaping this field. But we can't forget about the human element, right? The guide mentioned relationships. But what does that actually look like, building those connections in such a fast-paced world?
It's all about going beyond just the deal, getting to know those growers, those buyers on a personal level, understanding their needs.
So it's a people business at its core.
It always has been. Being a good listener, being able to communicate clearly, and hey, a little empathy goes a long way.
So it's like you got to be tough, negotiate those deals, but also be a good person.
Exactly. You need that balance. Know when to push, when to be understanding, and let's be real. Things don't always go as planned, right? So, being adaptable, huge.
Especially in the produce world, I bet. Things can get ripe pretty quickly.
That's one way to put it. But look, all jokes aside, at the end of the day, this is about people connecting with people, sharing a passion for good food, though I'd be lying if I said it wasn't competitive.
Oh, yeah, the guy didn't sugarcoat that part. So for someone just starting out, facing that competition, what advice would you give them?
Be ready to work hard, that's for sure. This isn't a career for the faint of heart. But if you're passionate about food, about this industry, it can be incredibly rewarding.
So you got to love it, not just see dollar signs.
Absolutely. Because it's about more than just the bottom line, It's about connecting those dots between the grower and your plate. And honestly, it can be an adventure.
An adventure. Tell me more.
This is a global industry. You're connecting with people all over the world, different cultures, different ways of life. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Wow, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. This deep dive, it's given me a whole new appreciation for what's on my plate. I'll never look at a mango the same way.
That's the beauty of knowledge, isn't it? Opens your eyes to the wonder of everyday things.
It really does. And speaking of everyday things, we haven't even touched upon organic produce. And that's a whole other world, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. A whole other world with its own unique challenges and opportunities.
So organic produce, it's definitely having a moment, right?
Oh, yeah, big time. Consumers are all about that healthy, sustainable lifestyle.
Makes sense. But navigating that market, it's got to be different, right, than conventional.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For starters, you've got certifications. Organic produce, it's got to meet strict standards. Merchants need to be on top of all that.
So it's not as simple as just, like, it's grown organically, there's paperwork involved.
Paperwork, inspections, the whole 9 yards. Consumers want that guarantee,
Makes sense, because they are paying a premium for that organic label. So certifications, that's one difference. What else?
Pricing can be tricky. Organic farming, it often costs more, which means higher prices for the shopper.
And nobody wants to break the bank for a head of broccoli, even if it is organic.
Right. So organic produce merchants, they've got to be really savvy. Finding that balance, quality products, prices people can actually afford.
Walking a tightrope between, like, principles and profits.
Exactly. And then there's the whole supply chain thing. Organic farming, it can be less predictable, lower yields sometimes, more vulnerable to pests, weather.
So a whole different ball game when it comes to actually getting that produce on the shelves.
You got it. Organic produce merchants, they have to be creative,
Uh,
build strong relationships with maybe smaller farms, be ready to adapt.
it's like the stakes are even higher when it comes to organic, huh?
In a way, yes. Because you're not just selling a product, you're selling a philosophy.
It's a whole lifestyle for a lot of
Because
people.
exactly. And that passion, it's contagious. When you
Uh-huh.
believe in what you're doing, it shows.
That's awesome. This deep dive, it's really opened my eyes to this whole world, I'll be honest.
That's what we like to hear.
So for our listeners who are now like, I want to be a produce merchant, where do they even begin?
Well, there's a ton of great resources out there. For the U.S. market, there's the Produce Marketing Association, the PMA. They're fantastic.
And for our UK listeners, there's the Fresh Produce Consortium, or FPC.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of the internet. Websites like The Packer, Produce Business, they're gold mines of info.
And of course, we can't forget about our friends at RoleCatcher. Their platform is seriously a game changer for anyone in this field.
Absolutely. All those career guides, the skill building stuff, it's invaluable. Plus, it's free. You can't beat that.
No, you really can't. It's been amazing, this deep dive. Who knew produce could be so fascinating?
Right. It's proof that there's always more to learn, no matter how ordinary something seems.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time for me to grab a snack.
Me too. All this talk about fruit has me craving a mango.
Me too. Well, until next time, happy exploring, everyone.
And remember, eat your fruits and veggies.